Hey there, Boots Owen here. I'm down in somebody else's laundry land and I've been asked to have a look at this Miele W1. Let's get a number on it if we can. W1 WMB120 WCS. It's a washing machine and it looks like the door can be reversed, and I've been asked if I would consider that as a thing to do. So I'm just going to start taking bits off it until I figure it out. I've got a knife here. Let's start with a knife. To get the top off, you've got to come around the side, and it's easier clearly if these things are not in the way. And you get your knife and you just jam it in there and you kind of pick that out. It falls on the floor like that. You put your knife away. And we get a Torx bit. I got these nice Vera ones just for this occasion. Any opportunity to spend money. So these come out. I don't know if they come out the whole way or not. I can't remember with these. So the idea with this, it's like a Bosch machine. You take out these from each side and then the top lifts off. You wonder sometimes when you're asked to do a job, it doesn't always mean you have to do it, but sometimes you're kind of intrigued and you want to have a look at something, and it's not often I get to. This machine's probably 8 years old, but it's not often I get to deal with a machine that's this new. Although I have been dealing with a few new Logics and Beckos recently, or Beko spin-off Lamonas. Right, 2 screws out. So does this pop back? Is there a screw in here? Sometimes there is. Let's take that drawer out. No screws there. Okay, that's a start. It has on the back these hooks. No, even easier with 2 hands. It just pivots straight up and then kind of rolls out the back. So that's the top off. I have plugged this out in case you're worried. It is unplugged from the mains. Now, we got a control cable there going to the front, so the brains must be further down somewhere. I'm trying to get the front off it. That's ultimately what I'm doing. So I'm looking for any screws or that to get this front panel off, and I don't really see any. So maybe it just lifts off, does it? Kind of feels like it might. Oh, I hate it when things are too easy. Yeah, it just lifts straight up. Look at that. Okay, well, we fold that over like that out of the way. And then I can see some screws here, and I'm imagining that there's probably 2 down below. And there's 1 here. This is a 30, I think. T30. 30. Let's get that out. This way this screw is on is kind of unique to Miele. They put this screw in here like this. And there used to be M10 heads or hex heads on them. No, they're not. I've got to get these guys off up here. The front of it's come apart remarkably easily. So these are a bit hard on the hand, these guys. They're not as easy as a screwdriver bit, but... So I'll take the 2 of them out and come back to it. Someone's written 14 there for some reason. So we've got this screw out and that screw out, and then I've got to get in here and get this thing off the door seal. So I'm just using a flat bladed screwdriver. Just peel it off like that. It's a bit grim. I'll have to give that a wipe. I think this machine is regularly cleaned, but places like that the dirt just gets rubbed into. Tuck that in. Have a look in here at the filter. I've made a video of this filter before somewhere on my channel. I don't see any screws in there, so it should just come off and fall out of the way. So I don't think there's anything else holding it on now. So I'll just try and pull it off. Okay, I should have done that first, I think. There we go. So then the question is this reversible? I don't know that it is. You've got your door opener clip there. I don't see why it isn't, on the other hand. The wires go down here. I don't want to, that's the pressure valve there. So that can be unclipped from here. Like this. And it will still stay put over here. And that'll be okay, like that. That's where it's meant to be. So that would do for that. Then getting this fellow, that can be removed from here. That's turned upside down then. So I don't know if that would reach on the other side. So then it's just a matter of hanging the wires. Where do they go? I'll pull them out and have a look. So another 10 minutes has passed and I've pulled the door lock out. I've unclipped the pump. It just comes out with one screw and then you kind of push it back and pull it sideways. The pink wires coming off that door lock aren't quite long enough, so I need to just get that one little cable tie in there out. And I'm trying to save them as I go because of my nature and haven't got any spare ones. So if I could pop that off, I'll try and get in there with my hands. I'll get that last one out and then I think I'll have enough run in the pink cable to get it up like that. It's under a bit of tension there, so I really need another 3 or 4 inches to get it right. So I'll give that a go. So it took a bit of doing, but I've got that pink wire loose now and I think it's going to be long enough to go up to this side here. It just is what it is now, and got some electrical tape to bind it. I think the edge there is quite sharp, so I can hang it out with a cable tie from here and keep the wire, or actually wire it to the front maybe, so that it doesn't ever have to touch the rubbing drum, and that'll be safe enough then. But it was a bit tricky to get that done. So now I'm going over to the door because I'm still not convinced that I could turn the door around. So I've taken out the screws on this plate. And then the door kind of falls off. We'll have to have a go at getting this fellow apart. You see, there's a cover here and I think it just has to pop off and then we can flip it over, because the angle on the top of the door is such that it does have to have an upright position, so the hinge does have to move over. And the other thing that's a bit tricky, which I might have to snap off the cover and rotate it or something, is that there is a yellow indicator here on one side to show you where to open it, so we'll have a go with that. So on the hinge side with a knife, I've just levered that back and it does just slide out, which is kind of easy actually, luckily. It has a little tab clip there, but it didn't seem to matter. And to get that out, I think we're going to have to take the door apart, for God's sakes. No, maybe. I'll have a look on the other side, but I think actually I can clip those pins up, flip them up and pull them out. Maybe. Like that. Hinge pins, and then that should let that bit out. So let's get into the other side. Looks like T20 again. It is T20, but a snug fit. There doesn't seem to be any cover there that isn't held on by this screw, so I think it'll work. Wasn't sure when I went into it, and you don't want to go too far because then you just have to reverse everything you've done. But it's going okay. It might be T15 or T18 or something, I don't know. If T says T20, it does fit. Right. So that whole thing just slides out, and yeah, it's got the positions there, so let's move it across. Just levering that up, there we go. Pull those hinge pins out, sharp knife in the way. Hinge pins out, so I need to turn it around somehow, like that, I think. Is that right? I think it is. Put the hinge pins back in. It's a good design, this. Slide them back in and then rock them down. That does that, and this cover should just snap in like that, very neat. And then this one should just slide in here. Now before I do that, I need to figure out what am I doing with this plastic, so I'll have a look and come back. So if you look there, you can see where I've left some of the handle or the indicator bits behind. It has a handle groove all around, so it's just a kind of a matter of where do you want to put it. Now, if I push that back in, it might fall out again, so I'm not too worried about it for now. I think I'll do it when I get the door back on and have a think about it. But I think it just pushes in between the grey and the clear plastic, so I don't think it'll matter if it's missing. So the first real issue I've come up against is that this plastic cover here is not symmetrical. It goes in a bit at the top and hangs out a bit at the bottom. So the cutaway is different. See, it's got about 1 millimeter of overlap there that you're not going to get away with. So I'll just put it on and it'll be what it'll be. So the rest of that job is quite easy. You just put the door back on and screw it on. It has this little pin on it and stuff. I was worried that wouldn't locate, but it did. So it's gone back together nicely. So then back here, I'm going to put some tape on the wire to bunch it and then cable tie it strategically in position. Okay, I've got the interlock ready on this side. I've got the wire all taped out, cable tied on here. You can see it maybe going on, but it's basically just dangling there with a bit of slack where it won't touch anything. I've got that plastic cover back on, but I've put all the other wires back where they should have been. And it's as simple as that really at this point. The one thing I'm struggling with now is the door override. So it has a orange plastic thing that pulls down, and typically it would pull down through this slot here. But you can see there's another slot here for pulling sideways. And I wonder if you want the door to be on this side, should there be some kind of like a rocker plastic thing here that translates the downward upward motion into sideward motion? I don't have it, so what I've done is I've put a couple of cable ties through as an extension and they'll hang out the bottom of the washing machine. I think it's going to be good enough because that's all we can do. So they'll just hang out there, out the front, I guess, kind of hidden, and I'll tell the owner about it. Right, get the front back on and rock and roll. That's that. We should just screw that in really, I think. Something's in my way. What is it? Don't do that to me now. What's in the way? Door frame. I've got to slide it in under the door metal frame. There it is, right. That's just, there's a lip in there, you have to get it under. I was worried there for the plastic thing covers all the other holes. It's all very neat. Does the door close? If it does, will it open again? Very good, works. So then, how to reseat the door seal. Pull it out the whole way around if it's fallen off or whatever, but this time we're just doing it part of a job, and then wiggle it so that the rubber goes into that lip. Just do it the whole way around. You can do it with one hand. Once it's on, it'll start going, and if it's a new one it's trickier, but if it's an old one it's used to sitting there. So just wiggle it all the way around. Seen it with it where you tuck a piece of string in and then you pull the string out, and it just causes it to lip out as you're doing it. You can do it with one hand, it's not so bad. I'm going to put the spring over at the hinge side because that's where it was before. So start by putting one bit of that there and then run this the whole way around. This is where it's a two-handed job really, but let's see what we can do. All the way around. How's that? Will that do it? So the springs come off again a bit. Keep one side of the spring in, then work the rest of it all the way around. It's all particularly greasy and snotty, this one. Just push it in with your hands in this case, and if you can't push it in with your hands, you need 2 screwdrivers, 2 flat bladed screwdrivers, and you kind of walk one down carefully, then the next, but that's it on, which is pretty good. So next job is to screw underneath. I feel like this job is nearly done. I've got to get the top back on. Just push this thing back down, I hope. Seems to be a remarkably good design, I've got to say. Is that it? Down and... Really? it is, down and in. Okay, and then the top of the drawer can go back in because it's handy. And then the top, if I've lost it, where did it go? Here. This can walk back in. That's it, bit of a push. Snap the caps back in, cap back in. So that's it on that side. And there's a cable tie sticking out on the bottom, which in theory could unlock the door if you ever wanted it to. Right. That's it, I guess. The only thing would be, do I want to put that little bit of orange in there? Not entirely sure what it would hang on to. There, just kind of pushes in. The door seal seems happy enough as well. All around, that's good. I think we're done on this one, Miele W1. That job took, I don't know, at least an hour. It took me an hour, I'd say. Right, longer than I'd like, but there you go. So I've got the machine back in position, and this was the original objective. I didn't really mention this at the start. Now you can take the laundry and put it in the tumble dryer without having to bring it around the door. That's the whole point of this video. Questions or comments, leave them below. If this video has been helpful to you, please give it a like. Consider becoming a member of the channel. It helps because it gives me money and encouragement to do this thing, but it's up to you if you want to or not. But either way, being a subscriber would be most welcome. So yeah, like I said, questions or comments, leave them below. If you've done this before and you think I've done something wrong, I'm just making this up as I go along. Never been into this machine before in my life. What do you think? Tell me about it. Thanks for watching. See you later.